First question on today's NFL mailbag. I am Tom Downey, by the way. We've got Cameron Briglin. Who is your early Super Bowl 58 matchup? I've got Bills versus Niners. That is a classic Chris Berman projection, but it actually makes sense this year for Chris Berman to pick that one. I like the Bills pick. I think Bills, Niners, if you had to rank your most likely outcomes, it's my favorite ones that aren't Chiefs again. Makes sense. Chiefs, Bills, Dolphins, all prime ones in that category. In terms of the status from that point, that's I think very important to consider. Beyond those teams, I think you're looking at options like in the AFC, maybe the Bengals figure it out. I kind of doubt it from that perspective. Maybe the NFC, Eagles, Niners, and the Cowboys certainly stand out significantly. All right, next question. GM Evan Hinders. Patrick Seatman would be a better head coach than Josh McDaniels. That is Patrick, host of our Vikings channel. Pretty sure Evans is a Vikings fan, by the way. Would be a better head coach than McDaniels. McDaniels is bad, man. He's not good. And the Raiders don't seem to have a plan. Like last year, run with Josh Jacobs. This year, he's averaging under 3 yards a carry. I'm really not sure what the process is going to be for them moving forward. All right, from Sam, who spelled it Samuel. Anyway. Should the Bears trade Justin Fields to the Falcons? Like you've been watching Bears Now or Falcons Today, that was mentioned by ESPN as well. From the Falcons' perspective, I think it'd be a lot of fun to see him in that offense. I think he'd have the ability to be a much better fit. I think Arthur Smith could maximize him as a playmaking option at quarterback. The Bears, though, don't really have much benefit for trading him right now. They're going to play Nathan Peterman. Tyson Baden's a fun story, but you're not going to play him. And if the Bears trade Fields right now, the GM and head coach are getting fired. That's not going to save their jobs. So it's fun for the Falcons. The Bears' best plan, pretty straightforward, is to let Justin Fields show what, if anything, he can do going forward. Fair to question it, but give him the year. And if not, you're going to have 2 early first-round picks, it seems like. So is Justin Fields the Bears' future franchise quarterback? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's show, so if that ad plays here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. XD Gamer 22. Who should go all in the trade deadline? Who is the team and what would they get? I am a believer, by the way, that a little bit of desperation can be a good thing to help put you over the edge. A team like Miami is kind of already all in, but they have a cheap quarterback. I think the most obvious answer, honestly, isn't it the Chargers? That head coach and GM, if they miss the playoffs this year, I think they're going to get fired. The Browns, kind of in a similar boat. So those teams that aren't the same obvious level of contender as a Bills or a Chiefs or a Niners or an Eagles or whatever, but those teams are already in really good shape, they should be extra aggressive to try to get themselves into a better spot. A super chat from Benicio, Canada. Who wins the NFC South? Panthers are 0-4. Let's cross them off the list. I am not going to rule out the 2-2 Saints or the 2-2 Falcons, although both teams have almost identical point differentials. 62-77 against 62-76. That's super funny, by the way. They have to get their offenses figured out. The Saints' offense has not been that great. Their defense is good, or better, I should say. Even the point differential might not show it. I'm going to lean Tampa, though. The Baker Mayfield FU tour is continuing in Tampa. I'm not sure that I have immense confidence in any of those 3 teams. Certainly not Carolina at 0-4. But I'll lean Tampa in what will be maybe a 9-win, 10-win division winner, I think, when it's all said and done. Today's edition of NFL Daily is made possible by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, like the pros and the sharks, etc., you just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and then watch the winnings roll in. It's really simple to play. You can make your picks, submit your entry in less than 60 seconds, and you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. You've got a vast section of sports and stat types not offered anywhere else. You can even do in-game projections once the game is started, like, second half, you take more than Tony Pollard rushing yards or whatever. Here are my picks for this upcoming slate of games. No Thursday games included, by the way. Give me Lamar Jackson more than 210.5 passing yards. Steelers have a great defense, but that seems low for Lamar after watching C.J. Stroud kind of have his way against the Steelers. Jalen Waddle against the lowly Giants. Now, you need some big plays early, I think, to get this number. More than 59.5 receiving yards. And Justin Jefferson, more than half touchdown. So 1 touchdown scored against the Chiefs. I love that matchup for Jefferson. You can also go the power play, which is got to hit 3 out of 3. You win 5x. Or you can do the flex play. You still get 2.25 if you hit all 3. You only get 2 right instead of losing. You get 1.25x your wager there. So head over to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Again, folks, that's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for the first deposit match up to $100. It's the most exciting way to play DFS. Chris Picard, what is the chance the Seahawks trade Tyler Lockett for a bag? I don't like it, but I can see it happening. I don't think that's much of a mid-season move that you'd see happen. Yes, the Seahawks have Jackson Smith in Jigba. Yes, the Seahawks have DK Metcalf. That's all great. But you want to have those options when you yourself are a legitimate playoff contender. Now, after this year, you can trade that contract and that deal if you want to. I'm not sure what bag he'd get entering his age 32 season. Then again, Chase Claypool went for a second, so who really knows? But I don't think the Seahawks will trade Lockett right now. From Andy, how could you pick those 40 whiners over our boys? So background, I am the Cowboys board host, those of you who do not know. The Niners have owned Dallas, though, the past 2 years. I want the Cowboys to win, but taking away the fandom, I think the Niners are favored for a reason. Austin Jones, is Caleb Williams going to skip the draft and pick his team next year? No. There's been a lot of out-of-pocket claims, including some from Caleb's dad. Going back to school does not benefit Caleb Williams. It does not. Yes, NIL money's awesome. Do you know what the signing bonus is for the first overall pick? It's like $25 million. So no, you're not turning down $25 million and getting to your second, likely, potentially $70 million a year contract a year later. That doesn't make any sense. Now, he might try to force his way to a team or two and not want to go to this one particular spot. That hasn't happened in a long time. But he's not going to go back to USC. It makes no sense for him to do so. So who will draft Caleb Williams? Maybe it ends up being the Bears since they had those 2 early first-round picks. Sound off for me in the comments section right now. Daniel Moriarty, the Cowboys should make an all-in move this year. They have the roster to compete, and they can still build for the future. Which player or players should Dallas go after in a trade? If you can find an offensive lineman, Garrett Bowles, I don't know if Denver would shop him or if Dallas wants him. That's the thing that stands out to me. If there's an injury, go replace them. If you can find an impact linebacker, there's no Roquan available right now. Maybe another corner if you have some anxiety about Jordan Lewis or something. But I would love an offensive lineman, as I've been saying for a while now. XD Gamer 22. Should the Bengals consider rebuilding if they lose Sunday? Rebuild? No. Should they consider selling at the trade deadline? Yes. Now, you're not going to go on into a full-fledged rebuild when you have Joe Burrow. You just paid Joe Burrow. That doesn't make sense for the organization. You have plenty of money tied up. But the pieces that you were going to keep this year to win football games and let walk in the offseason, Maybe those guys you shop. That could be Tyler Boyd. That could be a DJ Reader. That could be a Chidobe Awuzie. That could be a T. Higgins. Now, Higgins maybe you hold on to and try and tag and trade. But if the Bengals drop this one, and maybe even the one after that, and Burrow's just not right, you got to shut him down or whatever, Jake Browning ain't going to win you jack. So what you do is at least consider selling off some of your short-term assets. Keep your long-term ones and try to get a premium draft pick. That's what I would do. We're going to have free and daily NFL content all throughout the 2023 NFL season for you guys here at Chat Sports. So make sure you are subscribed. John McQueen, Texans trading for DT Chris Jones before the deadline? No. He's back in Kansas City. He's playing football games, and the Chiefs need him to win a championship. If Mahomes goes down, knock on wood, that does not happen, then okay, maybe. But right now, no. From Patrick, should the Raiders trade away Davante Adams if they keep losing? I could very much see Davante Adams getting angry and saying, I don't want to be here anymore. Get me out of Dodge. Trade me somewhere I can go win games. Adams wants a ring. At his age, I get it. And he wanted to play with Derek Carr in Vegas, and they dumped Derek Carr. I think there is some frustration there. He and Josh Jacobs both unhappy. Who can blame them? But he could be asking for a trade. That's a good thing to monitor here moving forward. So name a player who you want to see traded. Any player that you've got in mind out there on the open market that are inconceivably somewhat realistic, drop that player name for me in the comments section. If we did not get to your questions here on the show, you can always hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are open at WhatGoingDowney. Slide on in with any questions you guys have.